Welcome to another episode of the Schlegel Design Remodel podcast. I'm Amy Gerard, and today we have guest Nina Schmidt, a designer at Schlegel. She has nearly 11 years designing experience, and she's a certified kitchen and bath remodeler through NARI. Nina, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
So before we dive in, we're going to talk about bathrooms, which is exciting because we haven't really talked about bathrooms yet. But I wanted to understand a little bit more about you and how you got into design.
So I think what inspired me when I was younger was watching Trading Spaces. And that was something that my mom and I would watch together. And I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but we just started with my own room at home, redesigning it and moving furniture around and putting stuff up on the walls. And I started to do space planning down in our basement so that my dad had his own space, my mom had her own space, and then I had my space for all my art supplies. And I think that kind of my mom pointed out to me that I was really talented in that area. It was just kind of a natural gift that I had. So one of the schools in Wichita started a 2-year associate's program in interior design. And I thought that would be a great idea for me to try that out. And I loved it. So from there, I got my first job in Wichita and then moved to Kansas City about 6 years ago to start working for Schlegel. And I've loved it ever since.
That is awesome. So when you say space planning, were you like doing little blueprints and then
I
or
was.
and then like masking tape out
Yes.
spaces?
So I was doing that when I should have been doing my schoolwork and I hid it from my mom.
You
And
were so you were so bad. Like
yes. She was wondering why I wasn't getting my other schoolwork done because I had it on a little board and I would hide it when I could hear her coming down the stairs.
like of all the kids' things to do to avoid schoolwork, spatial planning maybe isn't the one
Yes.
that comes to mind for
Yes.
everyone.
And so I got in trouble, but then I showed her what I was working on and she forgave me.
She's like, okay, that's a talent that we could
She's
maybe
like,
add in.
actually, I like that. So let's do it.
That's awesome. So you kind of knew early on, like, this is what I love.
Yeah.
That's so great. So what do you love most about design? Is it picking selections? Is it making those spaces? What part do you love? Or do you love it all?
I mean, I love it all. But I think what makes it work in what we do as remodelers is we're partnering with our clients and finding their style that fits them and their home and then helping guide them to find that style. I think I love that the most because every project has been different and unique because every homeowner is unique. So we do ultra traditional and then we can work on ultra modern and just that whole wide array of design.
Which I think speaks to you as a designer because I feel like in today's world, we do a lot on Instagram and Pinterest, and a lot of designers kind of fit one box. I am this type of a designer
Mhm.
versus you have to be so versatile because it isn't just your aesthetic, it's what the client's aesthetic
Right.
is.
And I think, we can help guide them. And usually our clients will even ask us like if they're struggling between two things, they're like, what would you pick? And I'll give my opinion. I'm not gonna try to force my own personal
Sure.
style, but then I think it also helps if you've had experience in, hey, I installed this in my own house and here's what I found out, or I really like this. I love it and I used it in my own bathroom or my own kitchen. And, of course, I'm going to be biased towards it because I
Right.
love it, but, I'm not going to make everybody's bathroom look exactly the same.
Well, that's awesome because otherwise that's really boring.
Yes.
Okay, so you recently won an award actually through NARI for a bathroom you recently designed. Can you talk a little bit? And since we're only audio, can you speak a little bit about what it looks like and what that project was like?
Yes. So our clients contacted us. They had a Brookside area bathroom with pink and beige tiles. They had a pedestal sink and a tub shower and a toilet. Their bathroom actually was adjoined to another bedroom. So they had two doorways leading into the bathroom, one from the guest room and one from the master bathroom. And they wanted to make it a true master suite and just have that bathroom only off of their bedroom area. So we closed off the wall leading into the guest room so that we could gain more wall space for the bathroom because it was so tight. It was just toilet, door, pedestal, tub, shower. So this allowed us to get a nice vanity for them and then also move the toilet away from being right in the direct line of the door as you walk in. That's probably
So you lay in bed at night and stare at your toilet?
yes. So that's probably one of my no-nos for design in a bathroom is when the door opens into the bathroom, you want to look at something nice, not the toilet.
Right.
So we moved the vanity over so that that was the beautiful part that you look into as you come in, and then the toilet went in between the vanity and the shower, which also, for design reasons, helped us because we didn't have to have a half wall in between the shower and a vanity because you can't put a vanity right next to the shower.
Sure.
So that saved us some space, which we really needed because the shower needed to be as deep as possible. But we were also up against a window opposite wall, which was limiting us to how deep the shower could go.
So just a few design
Just
obstacles
a
in
few.
this
It was a
bathroom.
tight space already. But the initial reason why they called us is they had a leak that happened in their tub shower at one point in time. And it was probably a slow leak that happened over the course of many years. But what happened was the tub shower leaked, the water went down the drain pipe, and then it completely damaged all of the drywall in their hall closet downstairs below. So it not only ruined the ceiling in the hall closet, but it also ruined the ceiling in their breakfast room, which was right underneath the bathroom.
Oh,
So all those years, that water just gradually ate away at it.
and it's toilet leak too. Like,
I think it was a little bit of toilet, but mainly the shower,
okay,
I think
so
was the
that's a little
culprit.
better than maybe the toilet
Yeah,
leaking.
I
Yeah,
think it was mainly the shower
but
was
still not so fun to see water damage above you as you're eating breakfast.
and no, and not knowing what to do about it, you
Right.
know. So they initially called a plumber to try to fix the shower. And they put in a access panel back behind the shower from the bedroom side. I think they tried to fix it there and it was still leaking. So then they tore out the ceiling in the breakfast room and tunneled through their lath and plaster all the way over to that closet. Then they tunneled in the ceiling in the closet area and they did take out all of the drain piping for the tub shower, the pedestal sink, and the toilet, and they replaced it up to a certain point, still in the ceiling, but it still leaked.
Oh my goodness, that is a lot of plumbing work to still have a leak.
Yes. So it still leaked on them. And I mean, that just has to be disheartening. Number
Yeah.
one, like, we've spent all this money, we still can't use the bathroom because it's still leaking. So, and I think it's one of those things that you just kind of get to that point where you maybe get a little overwhelmed and you're like, we can't handle any more people in the house, but we have this hole in our ceiling. What do we do? And so they actually did a really good job. But they used paper sacks from the grocery store and they taped them to cover the
Oh
hole
my gosh.
in that breakfast room so that the insulation wasn't falling down on them as they were eating.
Those poor
I
people.
felt so sad for them. I was like, how long have you been struggling with this? And I think they finally got to the point that they were like, okay, obviously we can't try to keep fixing the plumbing because something isn't working. We're going to have to do something. The bathroom was the original from the home. So they were just like, we need a brand new space. We're going to gut it all the way down. So that's when they called us. And then we started helping them make the selections for the space. So she fell in love with the blue Zalig tiles.
Can you just tell us what Zaleg tiles are?
Yes. So it's become a little bit more popular here in the last few years. They're not always square tiles, but probably the most that you've seen on Instagram are they're like a 4x4 or a 6x6 tile, which when you say that, it gives you negative ideas of what happened back in the 80s with the white 4x4 and 6x6 tiles
Yep.
because that's what I grew up with in my kitchen.
Yep.
And so, but these are a little bit different because they have a hand glazing. Some of them are hand glazed or they're made to look like they're hand glazed. So every tile is going to they have different shades of blue or whatever, green, yellow.
So it's not one format. You're
It's
getting
not flat.
dimensional colors out of it.
Right. There's
Okay.
interest in there and everything. So these tiles were in different shades of kind of that sky blue, robin's egg blue tones. So that's what we started with for this space. From there, we were trying to decide if we wanted to continue it around and do a traditional wainscot with a tile in the room. But to save on some cost, we decided to eliminate the wainscot and just keep it in the shower. And then what we did to carry on that color in the room is on the vanity, we picked from our cabinet supplier, it's one of their standard colors, the Nibla Azul, and that is on the vanity. So you have kind of like a light blue vanity, you have the blue tiles in the shower, and then we pick kind of a slightly bluish gray color for the walls. And it just was a really soft and welcoming. I think we kind of hearkened it to kind of like an ocean oasis
Yeah.
kind of for them. Um, and then on the floor in the shower, what we put in was our onyx pan, which we talked to our clients about cleaning and what they would like. If you want a more traditional mosaic mud set pan base, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to clean just because you've got all the grout lines on the floor. So they were wanting something with less maintenance and they also didn't want any more leaks.
I do not blame them.
So we chose the onyx pan for that reason and picked it in a color that was coordinating with the mosaic tile floor that we did in the rest of the bathroom space. So they did a kind of tiny trapezoid marble on the floor, which was really cool. It was one that we hadn't installed
I was gonna
before.
say that's not. I feel like we see a lot of hex and we
Mhm.
see some of the picket we've seen, but that trapezoid shape is different.
Yes, and they wanted something different, and I loved it when it went in. It was really a cool look. So really some neat little features that they had in there. So they got a lot of storage with their new vanity as they're sharing it. They went from a pedestal sink to a vanity. Now they
It's
have
amazing.
drawers. There's no need for little caddies sitting on the floor now. It's all put away and in the vanity. And then we did keep a medicine cabinet for them just for that little additional extra storage. So all in all, it was a really fun project to do for them.
Do they love it?
They do. They do.
I bet. Do they? And I'm assuming you guys repaired all the other damage, like they no longer have paper bags in their kitchen
Yes.
ceiling.
Yes. So we did all the drywall. It's all nice and smooth and painted and put back to the way it should be. The closet doesn't have any mold in it
Oh
anymore.
my God.
It's all good.
I bet they love you for that.
Yes.
Like you saved our house.
Yes.
Well, I have the luxury of seeing these photos and it is absolutely beautiful. I think it's so great because it's different. It's not like a lot of the bathrooms you see today. It's got its own personality, but yet to your point, it's like calming and
Mhm.
serene. So I'll post pictures alongside on our blog so people, if they make it over there, can see it. So talking a little bit more about bathrooms, what are things you mentioned the toilet and sight line, but what are some other considerations when people are thinking about designing a bathroom that you always keep in mind?
So, one thing that we talk about is, I guess, the popularity of the freestanding vanity pieces. So, vanities that are up on legs. And that's just something that I put in my own home. I have two of them in my house. And again, for cleaning reasons, they are very tricky because it's about like a 4 or 5 inch space underneath, and it's a dust collector. And if you are like me and you happen to have a little friend that lives with you, a cat, it becomes a hiding spot for
I
them,
was wondering about that.
and a little toy storage area for him as well. Find
So you're kicking things under as you're getting
you
ready.
find treasures underneath the vanity when you're cleaning. So that's probably one of the things that, like, you don't think about it until you actually have it in your house and you start living with it, and you're like, oh, this is a little bit of a nightmare. So one of the things, and we also did this on their vanity space, is we've designed vanities that have the sides that extend down to the floor, and then it still has a toe kick underneath it, but it looks like it has legs.
That is so nice.
So then it's easy to clean because your little dust mop can go down underneath it. Nothing gets caught back behind it, but you still get that furniture finished look on a piece
Yeah.
of your vanity. So that's probably one of my things, and that's just from myself in living through it
Uh-huh.
and kind of sharing that advice with our clients and just saying, just so you're aware, you could have to deal with this. So that's probably one of the things.
What about like spatial planning? I know I recently encountered a friend neighbor that had hired a design firm and they didn't quite account for the size of the vanity in comparison to the size of the bathroom, and the
Mm.
proportions were just wrong. So how do you kind of design for the proportions of a bathroom?
Well, I think coming into this space, you need to see what is and is not working for them currently to know, like, what's important. Is it to have a separate tub and a separate shower if it's in a master? Are they only shower people and the tub really isn't going to be used? We kind of talk about that. A lot of times, I think it's kind of become one of those old wives' tales that you have to have a tub in a house in order to sell it.
I've heard it. I believe it.
And while I think it's good, it isn't always necessary to have a tub in the master bathroom. So I think it's one of those things that you have to weigh, is the bathroom large enough to support having that separate tub, or is trying to fit in a tub going to make you compromise on extra vanity space or extra showering space? And then the tub is just there, and that's where you throw your laundry in it. And
I feel like that was the 90s, right? Like the tub was the focal point and the shower was an afterthought shoved in a little
yes,
corner or a little clove. And now that's what you guys are pulling out, right?
right, those grand built-in tubs with the steps, and then sometimes even having mirrors around them.
Because we all want to see that.
Where did that
I
happen?
don't know.
Oh, and carpet in bathrooms as
Oh,
well.
no,
No,
no.
so
Sorry if
bad.
you have carpet in your bathroom.
It's a bad thing. Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's interesting. And I do think it's probably to your point too, depending on size, because some people even have vanity sized large enough that you can have another cabinet on top,
Mhm.
or some people like me barely have enough for a vanity at all. So
Right.
it just depends on your size.
And then also factoring in, with the vanity that you have, is it even possible to do two sinks? Or is it best to do one sink and have more drawer storage? Or you can get sinks, we've designed them that have more of that trough sink in the middle. And then you can have two faucets, but it's taking up less space than having two sinks.
I love
And
that.
then you can still have like his and hers sharing, but maximizing the storage in the vanity. Because I think that's the most key thing, is if you're going to have a vanity, it needs to be functional. You don't want too small of drawers that you can only fit your toothbrush and toothpaste into. And it's like, well, that's a waste because that could just literally sit on top of the countertop. So I think it's something You want to look at the functionality of this space first, and then look at the form of it, the beauty part. I think people tend to go for the wow factor, the beauty part first, and they don't think about, is it actually functional?
Sure, that makes so much sense because it's such a used space. I mean,
Mhm.
you think about how many times you're in your bathroom a day, and you got to put the function there to
Yes.
make it useful.
The most important spaces, I think, still in a home are the bathrooms and the kitchen. Those are probably the areas that you are going to spend the most time in. And when you sell your home, those are going to be the areas that people look at and think, would I want to change this? Or do I like this how it is? You can make a living room be your own with new paint or draperies or furniture in it. That isn't as hard to change as a kitchen or a bathroom.
Absolutely. And unfortunately, that also means it costs a lot more to do, but it's
Right.
so important to do it right.
Right.
Okay, we talked a little bit about things you consider. Are there things that you avoid? Again, we talked about the toilet. Or is there anything else that you avoid at all costs doing in a bathroom?
No. Trying to think of anything that I've seen.
Carpet.
It would be a no-no.
You know, the other I've seen before people that put the shower heads on the wrong side, like where you turn it on and then it's spraying outside your door. Like
Right.
those types of things
Yes.
matter.
The direction of where the plumbing is spraying in regards to the shower door, and then also if it's on an exterior wall, you can put plumbing on exterior wall. We don't recommend it, but you do need to fur out the walls so that it is an extra thickness so that you can add more insulation. Because where we are here in Kansas City, it can get very cold. What did we have? What was it, like negative 20 that one
Oh, yeah,
winter?
last year when they gave us like an hour of electrical outage. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that
And
was lovely.
so, yeah, we were calling all of our clients who had rain heads in their showers because the plumbing goes up and over through your attic space if you have the attic up
Oh,
above. So we were calling all of our clients who had those and telling them, just turn on your rain head and
drip.
let
Okay.
it drip, because that's something that I don't think people think about when it gets that cold, is
No,
your attic is going to
I
be
didn't think of a rain head.
very cold.
No. Interesting.
Mhm.
Any like tile that you absolutely wouldn't use in a bathroom?
I think when you're picking out tile, you have to think about, will I love this forever? Because you can get some really cool tiles, and they're making them again in pinks and yellows and greens. And I mean, they're beautiful and gorgeous, but tell yourself, am I going to love this? Because it's a lot easier to change your paint color than it is your tile. So, but if you absolutely love it, go for it. And I think if something is designed well and if the colors are working, even if it is a brighter color, somebody's going to come in and be like, wow, I love this,
Yeah,
you
I don't
know?
think it always has to be neutral. I think we get sick of neutral, but when to your point, if you take a risk, it has to be done well.
Mhm.
And then people appreciate it.
Yes, yes. Like in my own bathroom, I did one focal wall of patterned tile. And it's the first thing that you see when you come in. It was a little risky, but everybody that comes in, they're like, wow, we love that tile. So I think but I let that be its own statement piece, and then everything is neutral around it. The vanity kind of complements it. And then, but I think that you have to pick and choose the wow moments so that it's not crazy everywhere.
Yeah. My mom, her bathroom just got completed, but they built their house in the 90s and she had the whole bathroom was navy and maroon, like like 2 by 2 tiles. And she hated it by the end. She's like, why did I ever do that?
Oh,
So I think your advice is really good. Like, think about how much you love that color.
yes, yes. Will it be something that you're going to love years and years from now? Or is it because you're seeing it on Instagram Pinterest and you're like, that's what I want. I want stark black and white. Maybe you won't like that in a few years. So we do kind of try to steer clients towards, or maybe just showing you pictures of finished spaces, I think can sometimes help and be like, do I want this everywhere? Kind of like when we were talking about that tile in that shower and doing the wainscot. I showed them pictures of it and they were kind of like, you know what? We may not want that everywhere in our bathroom. We'll just keep it in the shower. So I think that's kind of something to think about.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice. Questions to ask yourself before you make those big decisions. Okay, my last question. Is there something that you love to do in bathrooms or add to bathrooms that isn't considered standard? Do you have like a Nina footprint that you put in your bathrooms?
I probably tend to like, it's not necessarily standard, but I would prefer to have sconces over the vanity light over the sink if
Why
possible.
is that?
I just think it's a little bit more decorative.
Yeah.
It's again going towards that more pretty side because you can pick single sconces and I just think that they're a little bit more tailored look. And you can also do the tubes as well, the ones that
I
get
love the
long
tubes.
lights.
Yes.
Because those can be traditional. They can also be more modern too in their style. But what we learned in school is a lot about lighting and how important lighting is in a bathroom and a kitchen as well. So I tend to go towards overdoing it on the lighting because as we start to get older, you know, eyesight and everything, you need to have a lot of light in those spaces, especially. So I like to think about that for my clients as well because it's easier to have it there than to add it in the future when
Yeah.
you're trying to get wires where
Sure.
they don't want to go. So at a vanity, for just having good lighting around your face, it's good to have light that comes at you from the sides, and it's also good to have lighting come at you from the top. So I think we did this in this bathroom as well. I put a little 4-inch can above the sink, centered on the sink, and then they also had the two sconces on the side. So now you're getting even lighting coming around your face, and just it makes it so much easier, like if you're applying makeup or getting ready in the morning, to have that even lighting around that area. It's just better
Yeah.
all around.
Do you put those on dimmers? And I love that too because I'm a get up in the middle of the night kind of person, and I hate the flood of crazy
Yes.
bright lights. So being able to put those on a dimmer
Mhm.
too, so you have that option.
Yep. Usually we talk through even the switching in the room. Like the sconces are on their own light switch, the can light is on its own light switch, the fan is on its own light switch as well. And one of the things that we recommend with our clients is sometimes they forget that the exhaust fan is still on. So what we'll do is we'll tie that exhaust fan in with the shower can light so that it's a visual reminder. Oh, the light's on in the shower, turn it off. And then it turns the exhaust fan off. But you can also put exhaust fans on timers.
Oh, you can?
So if you're one of those that,
They're so quiet today.
yeah,
I have some that sound like a train, but my
yeah,
newer ones don't.
the rattly ones
Yes.
that we have. So you can also put your exhaust fan on a timer if you want to. So you can set it to start, take your shower, and then say it's going to run for 30 minutes or it's going to run for 45 minutes or an hour, and then it'll shut itself off. So if you're prone to forgetting things, even like I, um, it'll just turn itself off for you. So that's really good.
I think that's awesome because it's those little, again, it's those little design choices that make such a big difference in your everyday use. And that isn't even that costly of a design choice, but it
Right.
makes a big difference.
Yes. Yeah. Just those little details, I think, are sometimes things that aren't thought about, but we like to talk through that with our clients.
Nina, thank you for stepping into the spare office at work today and sharing some of your design wisdom and about your awesome project. Hopefully, it was a good first podcast experience.
Yes, it was a pleasure.